Davies.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I beg to move that leave be given to bring in a bill to make provision for the succession of female heirs to hereditary titles and for connected purposes. Mr. Speaker, you will know that I often argue that the law should treat everyone equally, irrespective of their sex. And where that doesn't happen, I speak out. So, for example, I've spoken out to highlight where men are treated so much more harshly in the criminal justice system, and I've spoken out regarding how badly women are treated by Sharia councils. This bill would deal with another area where women are treated unfairly for no other reason than that they are a woman, and that is unacceptable and indefensible. In 2013, male primogeniture was changed to absolute primogeniture in the Succession to the Crown Act 2013, following a report on the rules of royal succession prepared by the Political and Constitutional Reform Select Committee in 2011. The report also noted that there is a continued ineligibility for women to succeed the majority of hereditary peers. My bill would seek to extend the Succession to the Crown Act to include all hereditary titles through a straightforward piece of primary legislation consisting of just a few clauses. It would quite simply mean daughters would be treated the same as sons for the purposes of succession, and it seems to me to be a very natural step to take after amending the same principle for the royal family. I obviously resist, as a Conservative, change for change's sake, but this is one of the things that both should be and could be amended. Rather like I was more than happy to see the ending of the centuries-old defence of marital coercion in criminal proceedings. A legal defence had been available to married women only in one guise or another until recently. I would add that, as is currently envisaged and drafted, the bill will not apply immediately where there is already a son due to inherit a title, and will certainly not be retrospective. If there is currently a son in line for succession, then that would remain the case. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Charlotte Carew-Pole of Daughters' Rights, who's in the gallery today, along with Sir David Beamish, the former Clerk of the Parliaments, for their help to bring this matter to its present state. They should both be commended for the immensely important roles they've played and the time they've spent putting together this legislation. This modest change would obviously not affect huge swathes of people. According to Debrett's peerage reports, there are apparently at present 803 hereditary peers, of which there are 24 dukes, 34 marquises, 191 earls, 115 viscounts, 426 barons, and 4 countesses and 9 baronesses in their own right. All of these could potentially be one of the 92 hereditary peers, or on the register to stand as a hereditary peer in a by-election to the House of Lords. I understand that the register of peers for the election currently has 210 peers on it, only one of whom is female, Baroness Dacre. This demonstrates that it is currently possible to already be a female hereditary peer, but clearly, because of the current system, not as routinely as if you are male, and clearly not as fair. The eldest of the 4 female descendants of the Earl of Balfour, Lady Willa Franks, commented in an article last year that she had a very tongue-in-cheek suggestion from her father that she could consider a sex change in order to overcome male primogeniture. I should add that the article did go on to say that this was clearly a very light-hearted comment from the Earl. Now, I accept, Mr. Speaker, that this is not the most important issue facing the country, but that, in my opinion, is no reason not to put right this particular unfairness. Some people might look at this as a game of numbers, that this change is needed to get more female hereditary peers into the House of Lords, but to be clear, that is definitely not where I am coming from. I refute the notion that any institution should have a particular number of men or women in it in the pursuit of what I believe is unrepresentative representation by tick box. I have often said that I couldn't care less whether, for example, the House of Commons was 100% female, as long as people are here based on fairness and real equality of opportunity. It should be irrelevant what someone's sex is, it should be their views and their contribution that count. This is arguably in the same vein as the change I am proposing today. As long as people fairly inherit titles, regardless of their sex, I could not care less how many men and women it affects. That is not relevant to me at all. It's what they do with that title that should be of primary interest. So, Mr. Speaker, this is not about men versus women. This is about true equality between men and women, and I therefore commend it to the House.